Bronny James declaring for the NBA draft. I feel like this is Bronny's way of saying, I'm LeBron James' son. I think that the West can be very interesting. Now with the East, it's a lot less interesting. Draymond stepped on Sabonis' chest. You guys, I think that the script is scripting, okay? Just hear me out. Hey everyone, it is Mariah. I'm teaming up with Revolt Sports to bring you guys all of the hottest takes and the best action from the NBA playoffs this year. So do not miss Courtside Chats with me and Revolt Sports. All right, it is playoff basketball time, but first we got to talk about the play-in tournament. If you don't already know, the play-in tournament is basically just a really lit mid-off between all of the teams that are good enough to be in the playoffs but not bad enough to be out just yet. They get an opportunity to play against each other and hopefully have an opportunity to go to the NBA playoffs. Basically, Adam Silver was looking for a way to make the regular season matter again, and he cooked yet again with the play-in tournament. So as always, the best 8 teams get to go to the playoffs, but now with the play-in tournament, the 7th through the 10th seed have to fight for their opportunity to play in the playoffs. So first, we've got the 7th seed facing the 8th seed. Now, the winner of that game automatically gets to go to the playoffs, but the loser gets another opportunity to save their hopes of the rest of the season. And then we've got the 9th seed and the 10th seed. The loser of that game is automatically out, and the winner has to play the loser of the 7-8 matchup to hopefully get a chance to go to the playoffs. Now, it might sound impossible for a team to come out of the play-in tournament and then face the 1 seed and get an opportunity to win the NBA Finals, but the Miami Heat just did it last year, so anything can happen now that we've got this new format going on. With the conclusion of the regular season, the spots are just now solidified. So we've got the first game with the Warriors and the Kings, and then we've got the Lakers and the Pelicans at that 7-8 matchup. This is going to be interesting because the Lakers are actually hoping to make a deep run because obviously LeBron has, father time catching up to him, and he's hoping to make one last run. This is looking like, I won't say last dance because that's a little bit dramatic, but this is looking like this could be one of his final opportunities to get that 5th ring and be beating Steph Curry. So with that Lakers-Pelicans matchup, you might think that the Lakers would go right into that wanting to win and go on to the playoffs and secure their spot. But it gets interesting because the Denver Nuggets fell from the number 1 seed to the number 2 seed. And the Lakers haven't beat the Denver Nuggets since, ever. They haven't beat the Denver Nuggets in, I want to say it's been 9 games in a row. And the Lakers scheduled all of their milestone games this year for some reason against the Denver Nuggets. And so they lost the Denver Nuggets on Kobe's statue unveiling and on the night that LeBron scored his 40,000th point. So they're not beating them. So I think that the Lakers could possibly, hear me out, try to lose that 7-8 game so that they move down and have to play whoever wins the Warriors-Kings game. And then they come in as the 8th seed to face the Thunder instead of the Nuggets. So that's something to watch out for. Now, with the Warriors and the Kings, I think we all know these teams have a little bit of animosity towards each other. Draymond stepped on Sabonis' chest. They had that crazy Game 7. I believe in the Warriors just a little bit more than the Kings, mainly because they have a guy named Steph Curry, and they have been on a heater to end the season. So I believe in the Warriors. I think it'll be very interesting if the Lakers choose. Let me not write off the Pelicans so fast. Hold on, I'm being disrespectful. But if the Lakers choose to lose to the Pelicans and they end up facing the winner of that Warriors-Kings game, and we get a Lakers-Warriors play-in matchup, that might be the most beautiful geriatric mid-off I've ever seen in my life, and I will very much enjoy it. I think that the West can be very interesting, and if the Lakers come out of the play-in tournament, hear me out. I know the Thunder are the number 1 seed, and I'm going to give them their respect, but age is always a factor in the playoffs, and the Thunder are the youngest 1 seed ever, and the Lakers got LeBron. Father time. He's been here before a million times. I definitely think the Lakers could take out the Thunder. So this could get interesting. Now with the East, it's a lot less interesting. So we've got the Heat at the 76ers. The Heat have been here before, just last year. They were in that 7-8 game against the Hawks, and they lost to the Hawks and ended up in the playoffs and going all the way to the NBA Finals. So God knows what can happen with them, but Joel Embiid just came back. I don't think he's going to miss out on his chance to lose in the second round again. So I think that the 76ers are probably going to beat the Heat this time. But with the play-in tournament, the Heat get another opportunity against whoever wins the Hawks-Bulls game that I would be surprised if anybody cares too much about. But I'm from Atlanta, so I'm going to go with the Hawks on this one. And I honestly think if you play for the Chicago Bulls, you've been waiting all season for this season to end. I think they want to go straight to Cancun and get this shit over with. So I'm taking the Hawks, but I think the Hawks will lose to the Heat, and I think the Heat and the 76ers will go on to the playoffs. Now, I'm curious to see how y'all are feeling about the play-in tournament. I know a lot of people who absolutely hate it, and I love it. I think it makes the playoffs so much more interesting. It gives more teams an opportunity to get in, and it makes more teams not feel safe going towards the end of the regular season. And I've been wanting these guys to lock in during the regular season. So I think the play-in tournament makes things interesting. But what do you guys think? All right, it's time for me to get my crystal ball out and give y'all my predictions for this year's play-in tournament. So on the West, we've got the Warriors playing the Kings. We know they got a little bit of beef there. We know Draymond needs to be on his best behavior. I think that the Warriors are going to win this one. I'm not going to say I don't believe in the Kings, but the Warriors have so much playoff experience. I think it's going to be insane. And then we've got the Lakers facing the Pelicans. Now, I think if the Lakers are smart, they're going to do everything in their power to lose this one so that they don't have to face the Denver Nuggets in the first round. But who knows? I don't think it's ever good to lose a game on purpose. And Zion and the Pelicans, I have a little bit of faith in them, but they don't have as much experience. So I would take the Lakers in this game if they're trying. We'll see what they choose. Now for the East. So we've got the Heat and the 76ers, and this one's interesting because, as we all know, the Heat went all the way from the play-in tournament to the NBA Finals last year. I don't know how I'm feeling about them this year. Jimmy Buckets turns into a different person during the playoffs. I think that they're going to lose to the 76ers. I think the 76ers are going to go on to the playoffs, and I think that the Heat are going to beat whoever wins the Atlanta-Chicago game. I'm taking Atlanta strictly because Trae Young is back. He loves these moments. And the Chicago Bulls have been waiting all season for this season to end. They want to go straight to vacation. So I'm taking the Hawks to win that one and then lose to the Heat. And the Heat and the 76ers are going to the playoffs. And those are my predictions for this year's play-in tournament. Okay, now I'm going to get into some of my hot takes. We're going to talk about a couple of trending topics going on in the NBA world. And I have been dying to talk about Bronny James declaring for the NBA draft. This is such an interesting move. I feel like this is Bronny's way of saying, I'm LeBron James' son. I can do whatever I want to do, because he validly averaged a triple single in his single college season because he went into cardiac arrest before the season even began. And so obviously recovering from that, getting back into the swing of even playing. But for him to be declaring this fast, I don't think a regular kid would be doing that. But he's LeBron's son, which brings up a very interesting question. Is this LeBron's final year coming up? Like, is LeBron ready to get out this fast? Because if I'm Bronny, I know people are going to look at the situation like, okay, he's LeBron's son. He averaged 4 points. He's not naturally just going to the draft because he thinks he's going to be the number one pick, you know? So I'm thinking if I'm Bronny, I would want to wait another year, get my feet wet a little bit in college, get my game up, earn the respect of the public and the NBA, and then earn my place in the NBA. But Bronny said, fuck the grind, I'm LeBron's son, so I get that. The interesting thing about Bronny declaring that I think a lot of people are confused about is not only did he declare for the draft, but he also maintained his eligibility in the NCAA by entering the transfer portal. So if no team drafts Bronny, he's going to play college basketball again. It just won't be for USC. It'll be for somebody else. Somebody is going to draft Bronny. If not for Bronny, it's for the ticket sales of having LeBron James on his team, because that has been LeBron's dream to play with his son. So I think that the most interesting part about this whole Bronny thing is that it kind of looks like LeBron getting his feet into the whole I'm about to retire thing. But that's if Bronny gets drafted. So we'll see. I'm curious to see what y'all think. Is this LeBron's last year, or do you think LeBron is just being a little bit dramatic with all of his father time? I'm almost done. It's getting to be on my last leg talk. All right, now let's talk about some of the most interesting storylines going into this week, the interesting first round of the playoffs. You guys, I think that the script is scripting, okay? Just hear me out. Now, first we'll talk about the East because it's a little less interesting than the West. Let's be real. Okay, the Celtics have been miles ahead of everybody else in the East this whole time. They are favorites it's written for them. It is their conference to lose. Then we've got the Knicks in the 2nd seed. I'm from Atlanta. I'm a certified Knicks hater, but they deserve it. I'm wishing them all the best in these playoffs. And then I need to take a second for the Bucks, because I personally think this might be an unpopular opinion. The Bucks are cursed. They're cursed for how they've been doing all of these coaches. Doc Rivers was literally advising Adrian Griffin, and now he took his job. I'm sorry. Karma is coming after you after that. It is done. Giannis is hurt. Dame isn't looking like Dame. Doc Rivers is not the guy you want in the clutch going into the playoffs. Like, this is going to be a mess. And then the Cavs. I've been hearing rumblings that this could possibly be leading up to the end of the Donovan Mitchell era with Cleveland. I don't know how true that is, but that's definitely something to watch out for with how they do in the playoffs. The Magic and the Pacers are interesting. They're just two young, exciting teams that I think are excited to be there in the playoffs. I don't entirely know how far either of them will go. I do know that the Pacers will have some very high scoring matchups in the playoffs because they do not play no defense. And for some reason, everybody they play don't play defense against them either. Like, all of their scores feel like they're 160, 150, 170, 130. Like, it's crazy. And then obviously we have the East play-in tournament. And that, I'm taking the Heat and the 76ers. They might as well just skip the play-in tournament on the East and just let it be what the standings are already. Now let's talk a little bit about the West. The West is cooking this year. The Thunder with the #1 seed, such an exciting young team. The vibes are immaculate. I'm wishing them the best. And by wishing them the best, I mean I'm wishing that they don't have to play the Lakers in the first round, because I feel like LeBron and AD will run all up and through them. And I feel like experience really matters. And the worst possible matchup they can get in the first round are the Los Angeles Lakers. Then we've got the Nuggets, who, listen, I don't mean it. I don't know. Listen, I want to hide after I say this out loud, but I'm gonna be real with y'all. The Nuggets have been the most boring champion I've seen in so long. I know they're so good, and I know that they have the potential to be a dynasty, and that scares me because they bore me so bad. I'm so sorry. Like, the way that Jokic spent all of the last finals convincing us of how much he does not care to be there was so annoying to me. Like, I'm sorry. I can't watch that. I can't sit through that again. The Nuggets and the Celtics, I'm going to be so goddamn bored. Oh my God. And then we got the Wolves. They're very exciting to me. Now, I don't know how I feel about Rudy Gobert, and I don't know how I feel about Cats coming back and how he's going to look, but Ant-Man, face of the league potential. I think that he knows that this is going to be his opportunity to cement himself. It's going to be interesting to see how he does in the playoffs. Watch out for that. And the Clippers and the Mavs. I think that the Mavs are a sleeper this year. They are so good. Everybody thought they weren't going to be playing very good defense with the whole Kyrie and Luka thing. Their defense has been incredible. I think that they're going to go far in the playoffs. Watch out for them. And I feel like Kyrie going to be able to be eaten again by the time that this whole playoff thing rolls around. Yeah, y'all are cooked. Just get ready. And then the Suns, the Phoenix Suns. I personally have no belief in the Phoenix Suns. I have zero belief in them. I think Devin Booker's really good in playoff situations. Same with KD, but no belief in the Phoenix Suns. I'm sorry. I'm not buying what they're selling. Bradley Beal was in the post-game presser talking about, this is our time. I'm ready to win a ring. You can keep being ready. That don't mean it's going to happen. I'm sorry. I don't believe in it. And then coming out of the play-in on the West side, I just want y'all to watch out for the fact that a lot of these teams in the play-in tournament on the West side have an opportunity to go all the way to the Western Conference Finals. So keep it locked, but let me know what you guys think about this year's playoffs. What are some of your hot takes and your predictions? Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Courtside Chats with me and Revolt Sports. Stay tuned, because all playoffs long, we're going to be talking about everything, and I think it's only going to get better from here. So make sure you subscribe and you're locked in.